Nestled deep within the Appalachian Mountains was a small, forgotten town known as Black Hollow. There was something unnervingly wrong with the air there, a coldness that didn't merely bite the skin, but seemed to seep straight into the soul. A few miles above the town, hidden within thick, ancient forests, stood an abandoned mansion known as Ravenmore Manor. The main character of this story was Ethan Cole, a well-known paranormal investigator and horror blogger from Chicago. Thrill and danger were not things he avoided, they were what drove him. While researching haunted locations online, Ethan stumbled upon a disturbing legend. 60 years ago, an entire aristocratic family had mysteriously vanished from Ravenmore Manor in a single night. No bodies were ever recovered, no solid evidence was found, only silence and dried bloodstains smeared across the mansion's walls. Determined to uncover the truth and capture exclusive footage for his channel, Ethan decided to visit the manor himself. Accompanying him was his childhood friend, Mark Wilson. Mark was cautious by nature, easily unsettled by dark places and unknown dangers, but Ethan's relentless determination left him little room to refuse. Around 6 p.m., they parked their car on a rough dirt road leading toward Ravenmore Manor. From there, the rest of the journey had to be completed on foot. The forest was so dense that once the sun dipped below the horizon, darkness swallowed everything instantly. In the glow of their flashlights, the trees appeared twisted and grotesque, like towering demons, their branch-like fingers seemingly stretching out to seize them. Struggling beneath the weight of his backpack, Mark finally spoke in a shaky voice. "Ethan, there's still time. Let's go back. I'm really scared. This place doesn't feel right." Unbothered, Ethan replied calmly, "Mark, everything worth winning lies beyond fear. Just imagine it. If we capture something no one else ever has, this video will go viral." And with that, he moved forward. After nearly an hour of climbing, the massive iron gate of Ravenmore Manor emerged from behind tangled bushes. The gate was corroded and rusted, and as the wind blew through it, an eerie creaking sound echoed through the forest. They stepped inside. The courtyard was buried beneath layers of dry, crumbling leaves. Ethan turned on his camera. "Hey guys, we're standing inside one of America's most haunted locations, Ravenmore Manor. It's 8 p.m. and the temperature here just dropped suddenly." Without warning, Mark clutched Ethan's arm tightly. "Ethan, do you hear that?" Ethan fell silent. When they focused, they heard the faint sound of jingling, like anklets, and a low, suppressed laugh echoing from within the mansion. It wasn't playful. It was twisted and deeply unsettling. "It's probably just the wind, or an animal," Ethan said, though his sweat glistened on his forehead. They entered the main hall. A grand staircase curved upward toward the second floor. When Ethan aimed his flashlight along the railing, a shadow flickered briefly, then vanished. "Was someone there?" Ethan shouted as he rushed up the stairs. Mark followed close behind. Upstairs, they entered a long, narrow hallway. Ethan pushed into the first room. Inside stood an old armchair, thick with dust. As the camera focused on it, the chair slowly began to rock on its own. Mark's breathing quickened. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoed from the far end of the hallway, like someone being tortured in unbearable agony. "We need to help," Ethan said urgently. "Someone's in danger." They ran toward the sound. At the end of the corridor stood a heavy iron door. Ethan forced it open with all his strength. What lay beyond made their blood run cold. The room was lit by dozens of candles, yet they hadn't lit a single one. At the center of the room stood a large antique mirror, spotless, not a trace of dust upon it. Trembling, Mark whispered, There's no one here. Suddenly, the surface of the mirror began to ripple. Reflected behind them stood a woman. Her hair was wild and tangled, her face charred and burned beyond recognition, and her eyes glowed like living embers. She smiled grotesquely, laughing silently. The iron door slammed shut behind them. They rushed toward it. It was locked. Every candle extinguished at once. Absolute darkness swallowed the room. "Mark, stay close," Ethan said, fumbling for a spare battery. His hands shook violently, and the battery slipped from his grip. As he reached down to retrieve it, his fingers touched something wet on the floor. He turned on his flashlight. Fresh blood. It was seeping down the wall. Suddenly, Mark's flashlight went out. "Ethan, my flashlight isn't working," Mark screamed. "Don't panic. Mine still is," Ethan replied, sweeping the light forward. Mark stood frozen in the corner, facing the wall. "Mark, what's wrong?" Ethan asked. There was no reply. Slowly, the figure turned around. It wasn't Mark. The clothes were his, but the face was a horrifying mass of burned, decaying flesh. Ethan screamed and staggered backward. "Where is Mark?" A cold, unfamiliar voice answered. "Mark left a long time ago, Ethan. I took him while you were climbing the stairs. I've been with you this entire time." Ethan's mind reeled. He remembered Mark lagging behind on the staircase, then becoming unnaturally quiet. That meant he had been walking with something else for nearly half an hour. Summoning his final strength, Ethan sprinted toward a window, shattered the glass, and fell into the bushes below. Shards pierced his skin. His leg twisted painfully, but he kept running, limping into the forest. Behind him, Mark's voice echoed. "Ethan, don't leave me. Take me with you. They'll kill me." Ethan knew it was a deception. He didn't look back. The forest grew thicker, darker, more suffocating. Exhausted, he reached an old stone well hidden among the trees. He checked his watch. 3 a.m. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "We entered at 8. It hasn't even been 2 hours." Then realization struck. Before arriving, Mark had refused to enter the manor. He had fallen asleep in the car. Ethan had gone in alone. Ravenmore Manor had twisted his mind. Suddenly, a decayed skeletal hand shot up from inside the well and clamped around Ethan's ankle. He tried to scream, but no sound escaped his throat. From deep within the well, hundreds of voices echoed together, the voices of the family that vanished 60 years ago. "Welcome, Ethan. We've been waiting for you." Tears streaming down his face, Ethan pleaded, "Please, don't kill me. Let me go." He clawed desperately at the ground, but with a violent pull, he was dragged into the darkness below. His scream faded into nothingness. Silence returned. The next morning, police found Mark asleep inside the parked car. When questioned, he insisted Ethan had gone toward the manor alone. A search near the well uncovered Ethan's camera and one blood-stained shoe. Ethan Cole was never found. The recovered footage showed Ethan speaking to empty air, panicking, and ultimately jumping into the well by himself. No ghost, no hand. But in the final moments, a whisper was clearly captured by the microphone. "Thank you, Mark. Now it's your turn." Please like, subscribe, and share.